Welcome back, guys. I know I'm a little bit late to this new Maxx C party because I was on vacation, but I definitely wanted to talk about this new card that has been revealed. The big Maxx C question: is Maxx C finally leaving the game? We will talk about this right now because we have a crazy revelation that happened last week that definitely go and ask the question: is Maxx C a card that will stay in the game or will it be gone? Especially important for us here in Master Duel and the OCG, obviously also important for the TCG. So let's rewind all the history, because we had this new card that was announced. It is now out in the TCG, also in the OCG, which is Mulch Army Purulia. So if you're not aware, I have made a video, a lot of people have made videos about this card. We can quickly understand it once again. If you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card, apply these effects this turn. Each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster from the hand, immediately draw one card, so basically Maxx C. Once during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck, so the number in your hand equals the number your opponent controls plus 6. So if your opponent has like 5 cards on the field, plus 6, that would be 11. So if you have 11 cards in your hand, then you can keep them all. If you have more than 11 cards in the hand, you will have to randomly, this is very important because otherwise you can obviously choose what to keep, randomly shuffle them back into the deck. And yeah, this is basically, a lot of people were comparing this to Maxx C. Obviously, it's a bit different from Maxx C, but it's the closest to Maxx C we have ever gotten. And a lot of people were like, okay, we are getting the Maxx C band, and then everybody will play Mulch Army Purulia instead. And obviously, this is more relevant for the TCG than is for the OCG and Master Duel because they don't have a Maxx C there. We have Maxx C, and Maxx C is obviously better. So as long as Maxx C is in the game, you will not play Mulch Army Purulia. And I think the most important one, or important part of the fact you have to understand, and we will come to the new card in a moment here, don't you worry, guys, is the first clause here. If you control no cards, quick effect. So this means that you cannot use this on your opponent's turn, right? So if you build your entire board and then you pass over to your opponent, obviously you can drop a Maxx C on them, and this is normally just game, right? But you can't do this with Mulch Army Purulia because you will control cards if you have gone first. So this is optimally a side deck card, because if you know that you are going second, then you can tag this in. You can just throw the Mulch Army Purulia and then have your Maxx C basically ready. But the thing is that this card says each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster from the hand, immediately draw one card. And a lot of people started to understand that this card is actually very good, but not nearly as good as is Maxx C. Firstly, because of this clause here. I think the last clause where you have to shuffle back cards into your deck isn't even that impactful. But I think the first one is because it basically says you can't go first turn, build your entire board, and then just drop this guy. And this clause basically says that you will probably not get that many cards. If we try to think about the most popular deck at the moment, which is Snake Eyes, then a lot of people were counting the number of cards that you would probably get from a Mulch Army Purulia, and this would basically be maybe 3, because you get Snake Eye Ash. This is one normal summon. Snake Eye Ash searches the Poplar. Poplar is the second one, and then your opponent might also play a Diabellstar from the hand, but your opponent also does not have to play a Diabellstar from the hand, so you might only get 1 or 2 cards from this. Which definitely makes the card worse and shows that this card is not a Maxx C replacement, and definitely not as strong as is Maxx C, and would definitely not replace Maxx C in Master Duel if Maxx C is still there, especially because you cannot use this on your opponent's second turn if you have gone first. But there's a new card that has been announced for the next core set. So this is in this core set here, Infinite Forbidden, which is definitely a super strong core set. We have the Fiendsmith stuff in here. Just to quickly show this to you, we will get this also in Master Duel in the future. Fiendsmith, which will make Snake Eyes once again be very powerful, will also make Jubel way more powerful if it stays in the way that we have it in Master Duel currently. This together with the Jubel engine will probably be the strongest deck in the entire game, because Snake Eye has suffered a lot of hits. So Jubel Fiendsmith might be the strongest one after Fiendsmith Snake Eye. So this is the next Diabellstar engine to come basically. But in the next set, the Rotar set, there was a new Mulch Army card that was basically teased at, that will come in the set. So Mulch Army, turns out, is like an archetype that we will get cards from, same as with the Ghost Sisters basically, because we had all these Ghost Sisters here, the Ghost Maw, the Ghost Bell, the Ghost Ogre. It seems to be the same for this Mulch Army thing here. So we have in the new Mulch Army card, Mulch Army Fuos. It's a level 4 wind. The stats are basically the same, but don't really matter. And obviously it works kind of the same like the other one, but let's read. If you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card, apply this effect this turn. So once again, this is nice because this balances out the probably worst feature of Maxx C, which is the fact that you can just build your entire board and then drop a Maxx C on your opponent and it's just game over. He can't recover from that basically in most cases, because he has to break your board and he has to give you a lot of cards, which it's very likely that you draw a lot of hand traps, so it makes it even more unlikely that your opponent will ever kill you on a full board together with a Maxx C. So this is one of the best clauses. I hope that they ban Maxx C and introduce these cards that we can use. Then not quite sure if you would use them in Master Duel that regularly, because of the fact that you can't use them going first. But let's read this card first. Each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck and or extra deck, immediately draw one card. And then again, the third clause is the same one as with the Mulch Army Purulia. Once during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck, so the number in your hand equals the number of your opponent controls plus 6. So where's the difference between the Purulia and the the Fuos? The difference is that summoning normal or special from the hand is definitely way more restrictive and can't happen as often as can summoning from the deck or the extra deck. This is definitely something that is way more impactful. If this card would have only said from the deck, then I think power level wise it would have been the same as Mulch Army Purulia, because cards or decks like Snake Eyes, for example, would also summon like 2 or 3 times from the deck. So it would end up being the same as with the Purulia, and in my opinion Purulia would have still be the better card, but the Fuos also says from the extra deck, and the fact that it also counts from the extra deck I think makes it very, very strong. We can just think of decks like, for example, Jubel or Snake Eye, which are prominent at the moment. They are summoning from the extra deck a lot. So against the Snake Eye deck, for example, I have not counted this, but I guess if the Snake Eye player wants to play his entire combo, you will definitely draw, I don't know, 6 or 7 cards, because he will summon from the deck with a Snake Eye engine the Flamebird String, for example, or an Oak, and then he will summon stuff like a Lingoribo, stuff like an IP Masquerena, the Promethean Princess. You will definitely get 6 or maybe 7, 5 to 7 cards, I guess, depending on how your opponent plays this out. You will get a lot of cards with the Mulch Army Fuos. So this is another hint at the fact that we might see a Maxx C banned, even though these cards do not replace Maxx C, because they have this, let's call this the secure clause here. The first clause basically secures the fact that this is not as strong as is Maxx C. But I think now that we have more of these Mulch Army cards here, the fact or the probability of getting the Maxx C banned on the next OCG and Master Duel ban list, not on the next Master Duel ban list, obviously, because we already we need to get these cards first, and the OCG also needs to get this card first, but I can definitely see Konami banning Maxx C when we have all the Mulch Army cards. I'm trying to think now, is there any another Mulch Army card that we could get? Mulch Army, we have summoning from the hand, we have summoning from the deck and extra deck. I guess you could also have a Mulch Army card that says special summon from the graveyard or maybe the banished pile, because those would be the only 2 places that are left to be special summoned from, even though special summoning from banished is very hard, but it can obviously happen. And if it would be, this might be the third Mulch Army card, but this would definitely be the worst one, with this one being the best one. Definitely very impactful hand trap, and I guess a hand trap that a lot of people would play if we would lose Maxx C in Master Duel or the OCG. And I think it would be so great getting rid of this card. I'm playing the TCG and playing the OCG, the OCG Master Duel basically. But you can let me know. In my opinion, Maxx C is definitely not nice for the game. Maxx C is one of the worst things about Master Duel, unfortunately. Having played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Without Maxx C, I can definitely speak to the fact that Maxx C is a very, very bad card. Then again, I have to say that obviously playing the TCG means playing best of 3, so I'm not playing a lot of best of 1s. It might be the case that in best of 1s Maxx C is a bit more important, just to stop, I don't know, combo decks or something like this. Might be the case, can't really speak to that, but in my opinion a very, very bad card that I would be very happy if this would leave the game and we would get somewhat balanced versions of this card with the Mulch Army Purulia, but then again especially with the Mulch Army Fuos, which in most metas will be the way stronger card than the Purulia. So in the end I guess we would see people playing the Fuos, people not really playing the Purulia, only playing the Purulia if we are side decking. I'm really hoping, this is the one feature I still want to see in Master Duel, Give us a best of 3 ladder. Keep the best of 1 ladder. I do understand that people want to play it with their phone, want to play a quick game. This is cool. I'm totally for it. But give us a best of 3 ladder where we can basically have a side deck that we have to hand in before we start the match, and then we can use the side deck in order to side. This would not be very hard in terms of making it happen. Game mechanic wise, I think it's not really hard to implement this from an IT perspective. But yeah, this is just my wish. I think this would bring a lot more interesting points to Master Duel. But yeah, these are the Mulch armies, Mulch Army Purulia and Fuos, the new Maxx Cs basically, but this one being really the new Maxx C. And the more cards I see from this Mulch army archetype, the more I guess we will get rid of Maxx C in the future. But you can let me know what you think of these cards here. How do you think they compare and stack up to Maxx C? I think they are very fairly designed. I like this a lot. They are definitely designed the way Maxx C would need to be designed. I think putting this clause here, if you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card, apply these effects this turn. If you put this clause on Maxx C, it would be way better. It would be a way fairer card, way less annoying, but still annoying. Still the strongest card in the game, don't get me wrong. You put 3 of them in every deck, still, and this doesn't really change that. But yeah, the Mulch armies. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm very interested. Mulch army Fuos, what do you think? Is this replacing Maxx C? Are we ever seeing the Maxx C being banned? Let me know in the comments, and we will see each other in the next one.